action.
Da 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 ba 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 ba. It's a new episode of the PokéBears podcast, starring your favorite bears, Nick and Forrest. That's not gay bears, although that's cool. It's just bears, as in the actual animal of a bear. With Nick and Forrest.
I like that one, except for when you sounded accidentally homophobic, and then you tried to cover it up and then sounded a little bit more accidentally homophobic.
Oh no, it's a Dimitri Martin joke. Like, I have a rainbow on my shirt, but I want to say not gay just because I like rainbows. But then I want to say, but I don't want to be homophobic, so then it says, but cool with it. So it's like that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Plus, I don't know, maybe we have some audience members who've been thinking, are Nick and Forrest bears together? We're not bears together, folks.
We're just individual, separate.
We have spirit animals, and they are bears.
Yes.
That's what the PokéBears is referring to.
I think you've also established that you are married, so.
Yeah, but I could be I could be a polyamorous relationship. I don't know.
Welcome to another episode of the PokéBears, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. Welcome to episode number 36.
36.
Holy crap.
Wow, yeah.
Closer to 40 now than we were to...
20? 30?
20 was the word I said. But to 30. Closer to 40 than we were to 30 now.
Yeah. That's how math works.
It is how math works. Chelsea's gonna be laughing at every joke that we say. She's gonna be the laugh track.
Oh, that'll work. I'll be
yeah.
oh yeah. Pause for laugh. There we go.
Get to the first episode of this podcast, episode number 134.
For crying out loud. That's what it's called. It's literally called For Crying Out Loud. We're off to a good start with this one.
No.
You sure, Forrest? This wasn't your favorite one ever? This isn't for Electrode episode?
It's not, but mostly I didn't like the title. I thought the title was really stupid. Because, get it? It's called For Crying Out Loud, and this episode is about a Marill that cries.
Really loudly.
Yeah. I mentioned this during, our recording, or when we were watching the episodes, but,
Because we're recording now.
Yeah. Because this episode and the next episode have the opposite problems, where the next episode has some really good ideas but some a little shaky execution.
This one has good execution,
really good execution,
but a stupid script.
Really fucking dumb idea. It's so interesting. It actually
it's a reverse Missing Togepi episode.
This episode begins and Ash and crew come across Team Rocket in a truck and
hold on before
never
that
learn
happens.
Their lesson.
Before that happens, they're off in a town or something, or going to a town, and Brock spies a pretty little lady up on a cliff.
Oh,
and then he says, "Oh, this is so romantic. This is where this cliff will be the perfect meeting spot for us." And Misty, with a zinger, I wrote it down, was, yeah, as soon as she meets you, she could jump right off. And I was like, damn, Misty, that's cold.
That was an excellent zinger. I mean, since her personality has just become, snarky thing.
I'm a spiteful asshole.
It's good that she has a good zinger every now and then.
Yeah.
Although she did have a modicum of more personality in this episode compared to her usual.
It's only because the camera followed her.
Yeah, exactly. This episode was basically about, they come across this Marill that's just pissed off and crying all the time. And I know Brock was able to make it calm down and everything, but was Ash able to?
Ash never tried.
I don't think Ash ever tried, but Brock was able to make it calm down and be happy, but Misty just, she couldn't do it. Which is weird because, she has Togepi. This almost felt like this episode was written for Togepi or something.
Yeah.
For an earlier episode, but then they decided to toss it, and they just stuck it in here. They were looking for script ideas. They came across this old script about Togepi. They just crossed out Togepi, wrote Marill.
I feel like they thought they would have been in a bad situation if Togepi had a crying problem with Misty, because it's Misty's her mother, that's bad.
But it also felt like it was trying to be that that arc of Misty learning how to become a better mom.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the vibe I was getting from it, but it was weird because it was Marill, not with Togepi.
Also, how come Misty never reacted to Tracy's Marill?
I know. She came across Marill and she was like, this thing is fucking adorable as shit.
Oh my god, and it's a water Pokemon.
You know what I bet?
love it.
I bet it was because it was Tracy and she was trying to pretend that he didn't exist.
Yeah.
So she couldn't let on how much
she
she
acknowledged
liked
his
that Marill.
Pokemon, and she would have to acknowledge him.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Because I don't remember Misty and Tracy ever actually having like a conversation. I'm sure they did, but I don't remember any conversation.
I think they've had small talk, or like, oh, Ash is just doing anything Brock told him about.
Yeah, exactly. Team Rocket's like, let us give you a lift because we're just poor country folk driving around in a pickup truck.
And that's the voice they used.
That's pretty much the voice they use. And Ash and Misty and Brock are like, I guess so. Why not? And so they take Marill with them, right?
Yeah, because they don't know that this Marill is
someone else's, even though it has a pink bow in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it turns out it's Team Rocket, because duh, and they never learned their lesson that there's a blue-haired man and a red-haired lady and a Meowth.
Meowth.
Like, where are the odds it's not Team Rocket?
I want to see that episode.
I was literally about to say, like, I want there to be other episodes where there's a blue-haired man and a red-haired lady.
And a Meowth.
And a Meowth, but it's not Team Rocket. This just... And there's, like, bunches of them. Like, they're all over the place. And, like, Ash
like
has,
it's
like,
a whole town.
Ash has, like, a psychological breakdown because he can't deal with it, man. He's, like, certain. He's finally figured out, but now all these people aren't Team Rocket. He doesn't know how to handle it.
And that's when Jesse and James actually do come in, and they just, like...
And they just take the shit out of
it.
Pikachu. They just take him.
Like, all of Ash's Pokemon.
And Ash doesn't know how to deal with it because he's just, like, drooling into a cup. Curled up in the field. Yes. The truck, like, hits a bump or something. And Togepi and everyone goes flying.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone goes... Well, Pikachu and Marill go flying out of the car and onto a hill. By the way, the car, like, separated, and I thought that was cool. They left Ash and crew in, like, the little pickup part of the truck, and then the car itself flew off. But then it bumped, and then Pikachu and Marill rolled off. Ash tried to go chasing after them, but then he died by crashing into a tree. And so Misty did the same thing, but then she tripped right as she caught them.
And fell into the lake.
And fell into the river.
Meanwhile, Brock and the trainer... Oh, yeah, because then they catch up. The trainer, Wilhelmina, catches up with Ash and Brock while they're like, shit, Misty's, like, down the river somewhere.
And she, like, blames them for stealing.
Yeah. But then, like, she and Brock, like, kind of hit it off, weirdly.
Yeah, like, she's like, oh, hey, Brock. And Brock's like, oh, my woos are working.
I was like, dude, this is like the perfect girl for Brock. It's a lady who just loves the attention and shit. And I was like, okay, I can kind of get behind this a little bit. She doesn't
have much more personality than that, unfortunately.
No, but neither do most of the girls that are in this freaking show. So
I mean, they at least have interesting careers or hobbies or something.
That's true. I don't know what the shit this girl gets up to. She has an umbrella.
She just wears Sunday dresses and
has an umbrella and a Marill.
Yeah.
And the Marill, we never find out why the Marill is crying all the time. I guess it's just kind of...
It's a sensitive Marill.
Yeah, it's a crybaby.
Oh, she does say it's a baby Marill.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. Because Azurill has not been discovered yet.
Yeah. And you can still technically have baby Marills.
Yeah. I wrote down that the animation in this episode was really good. Like,
yeah,
the characters had really good facial expressions. The movements were really interesting.
They did a close-up of Misty at some point when, like, she was calming Marill.
Yeah.
And, like, her hair was, like, super detailed.
Yeah, it was, like, really, really good animation. I was like, why in this episode of all episodes?
Why are they spending the animation budget on this episode?
Yeah. Although, thank goodness they did, because it makes the episode, like, very tolerable. I thought I was going to hate it because of, like, every time Marill started crying, like... Everyone was like, Marill's crying.
Yeah, they were doing that.
But that wasn't as much of a big deal as I thought it was going to be. Basically,
it was starting to grate my nerves a little bit.
Yeah, if it had happened like 3 more times, I would have punched myself in the nads.
Oh my god! I completely forgot to mention. Back when Team Rocket stole Pikachu and Marill, they started their anthem as the truck was driving away.
Oh, yeah.
And then you couldn't hear them anymore.
So the truck
drove back.
Yes.
And then they were still going on from their anthem before.
They wanted to make sure they could finish it. Yeah, that was funny.
Team Rocket anthem is really clever so far.
I felt like Team Rocket in all 5 of these episodes that we watched today, they were like on point.
Yeah.
Like more so than usual. They were on point in all 5 of these episodes. Which which good for them. Misty and the Marill kind of bond for a little while, like, because Misty finally figures out how to make it not cry, and they go through this whole thing where she's like being nice to it and whatever, and not
There's
smacking
a
it.
thunderstorm,
Yeah.
and then like Misty consoles the Marill while
Yeah.
it's scared.
It was actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And then they finally catch up to Misty and Marill and Pikachu, only to be just in time for the giant Beedrill swarm attack.
Oh, because the Marill's doing like some target practice with some Butterfrees.
Yeah.
And it just got all these bug Pokemon wet, and then a bunch of Beedrill attacked in
Yep.
response.
And then they're like running away, and then Misty's like, "Oh fuck, duh, Pikachu, use an electric type attack. I'll probably take care of it." And Pikachu's like, "Oh yeah, I do that. That's like my whole thing. I'm just a mouse that does electricity."
Oh yeah!
Come on.
So this is the second time I can remember a swarm of Beedrill being one of the
And I feel like there was
antagonists.
at least one or two other times.
Yeah, I just can't remember them.
And that's like kind of it. I think Team Rocket come in for like a final hoorah, but
And
they just kind of get rid of
Marill
them.
helps attack.
All the Pokemon kind of come out of the Pokeballs for a change to help get rid of Team Rocket.
Yeah.
And then like that's
Because Poliwag does the thing, and his eyes look really fucking weird.
Yes, it does.
That was the one bad animation in
That
this
was.
episode.
I agree. And then they have. This episode was everything that I wanted the Stantler episode to be, because they have a nice goodbye with Marill that makes sense, and it's at the very end of the episode, and it was like sad without trying to be overly sad. I thought.
With the Stantler being like, it's halfway through the episode.
Yes.
And they white fang it.
Yeah, and it wasn't earned. And then this one, it's like, it happens at the end. They go through this whole journey together. She learns to like calm it down or whatever. And I thought it worked at the very end.
So what happened?
Because they didn't try too hard too, and that's the other thing.
So what happened between Brock and Wilhelmina?
You missed it, yeah.
Because
but-
I spaced the fuck out of
Yeah.
them. Like,
Yeah, there was a moment. It was probably like right at the halfway mark, right when Wilhelmina and Brock are starting to hit it off, and Brock kind of goes through this very short like monologue to Ash about how he can tell that for once he and this girl are really hitting it off, but they can't be together because he has to follow Ash and she's got to go do her own thing.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean you probably could have guessed it, but yeah.
Does he have to follow Ash?
I don't think he does. Is the thing. Like, he spent, like, an entire summer with how should I say Poison Ivy? Professor Ivy.
I mean,
so
she's about as hot as Poison Ivy.
Kinda, yeah. So I feel like he could have gone with her. But maybe he's being a little... Maybe he was exercising a little bit of restraint. Like, okay, I can't just run away with the first girl that actually happens to...
And also, remember how, like, we thought it was weird that for the guy to ask Misty to, like, live with him?
Yeah, exactly.
It would be the same thing.
Exactly. Then Brock and Wilhelmina at the very end episode have to have a little goodbye too, and it's I thought it kind of worked, honestly. So I gave this episode 3 Voltorbs. I did like it. I thought it worked. I thought it had a nice arc. I thought the pacing was halfway decent at least, and most importantly, I thought like the animation and stuff was really good. Like the jokes land, in spite of the fact that this episode has a really stupid concept. I thought they made it work.
You know, I originally gave this a 1.5.
Wow, really?
It was because, like, at the time of my writing the score down, it didn't really stick with me. But as we're talking about it, it does have a lot of...
Yeah.
Like, Team Rocket was on point.
Yeah.
The good animation.
Yeah.
And the characters did grow.
They did.
So, I'm not bumping it up to 3, but I am going to bump it up to a 2.5.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. And I will grant you that, like, some stuff, like... The Marill cries were really obnoxious.
Yeah.
But I thought overall it worked. And I was honestly impressed. Because I thought I was going to hate it.
I also kind of wish this was a wild Marill
And Misty could have
caught it.
Ready for next episode?
Next episode.
Episode number 135?
Thanks a lot.
For what?
For letting me say the title of this episode. Which is Thanks a Lot.
Oh, well, now, Nick, I just feel like you're being sarcastic. I mean, you don't have to just keep, like, thanking me in that weird...
Thanks a lot, Forrest.
Why do you keep just thanking me in this, like, weird Boston accent or whatever?
Because I want to thank you for Thanks a Lot. In the episode of this Pokemon episode.
So this episode's about a tank.
Yeah, it is. Like, literally.
Like it's about a tank.
Like, I thought they were, like, being, like, I thought they were going to say, like, oh, yeah, there's a Dawn fan, and it's, like, a tank.
It's like a tank.
It's like a mill tank.
No, it's a tank.
No, it's...
That would have been kind of interesting for a mill tank episode. No, it's about a little, like, Arbok tank that they call the Arbo tank.
Which is a bad name.
Yeah, they should have just said Arbok tank. Okay, my first note here is this show is typically at best when it's just letting the Pokemon, like, be Pokemon and doing shit.
Yeah.
Because this episode, like, the first, like, 4 or 5 minutes of this episode, like, Ash and Crew are asleep, and the Sentret comes up and just starts, like, seeing what's going on. And it goes up to the other Sentret. It's like, hey, man, what the hell are these guys over here? And they're all like, I don't know, man.
I don't know, why don't you go check it out? And Sentret's like, okay.
And it's kind of nice because I remember one of my first complaints when I first started watching the show, and I remember Andrew having, like, the same kind of reservations, was that this show can, especially when you're not too used to it, this show can just be a lot of, like, color and, like, energy and just, like, clashing all the time.
Yeah.
So it's nice when they have, like, scenes like that where it's just, like, a Sentret, like, walking around and looking at another Sentret and doing Sentret-y things.
Sentret is adorable, by the way.
Sentret is cute as fucking shit.
I think they could have tried a little bit more with its voice, like, make it more squirrel sounding.
It was just like, Sentret!
Sentret! I'm a lady and I'm saying Sentret.
Yeah. I don't know, like, how would you do it? Like a Sentret? Or no. Wait. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Sentret. So this episode, the next thing that happens is that Team Rocket is arguing with each other about the fact that they spent all their savings on this fucking tank, and how mad they are because they had to give up certain things. Like Meowth had to switch, like, brands of cat
from
food.
Like the gourmet cat food to, like, the shitty,
just like tuna out of a can.
Yeah. James stops eating candy and stuff like that.
Yes.
And Jessie, like, she still eats, like, gourmet steak and shit, but what
I can't remember. It was something.
I think she doesn't do anything. Is the point?
Yeah, that was the point. Yeah, because the other two were really mad about it. That was great. That stuff was great.
So Jessie says to James, "Don't tell me you wasted all of our life savings on this tank." And then I wrote, and he said,
"Okay, what would you like me to tell you instead?"
What would you like me to tell you?
It's funny
because he did.
He did. It's funny. Yeah. Again, Team Rocket was just, like, fucking on point in all 5 of these episodes. Yeah. Like, they really, really were. But the one bad thing about this episode was, like, the animation just wasn't as good.
No.
It was much clunkier. And
I wish they used the same animation from the last episode in this one. Because then this would be, like, easy 3-star episode. Easy 3-star, possibly 4.
Yeah, like, because they had some really good ideas in this one. Because basically this episode is Togepi goes missing, but hang with me here. Togepi and Sentret both go missing because Sentret follows Togepi, and they go into the tank because Team Rocket is doing, like, a stakeout to surprise Ash and crew once they wake up from their nap. Mm-hmm. And Togepi and Sentret take control of the fucking tank, and everyone has to figure out how to stop it because this tank is amazing. Egg. Yes.
Take control.
And they're just, like, hopping around on buttons and shit, and they're just, like, making the tank destroy shit. It was like perfect. And then Ash and crew wake up from their nap, and Misty's like, "Where's Togepi?" And Ash is like, "What's going on?" Pikachu, stop poking me or whatever.
And it's like the Sentret trying to wake them up.
Yeah, the I'm guessing mommy Sentret?
The Alpha Sentret.
And then Misty says something to the effect of, well, maybe she can help us find Togepi. That was a scene that probably could have been cut a little bit shorter.
Probably.
Again, this episode had, like, really great ideas, but, like, whoever directed it and, like, storyboarded the animation and shit just wasn't on...
Right, not on the same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun, though. It was fun watching, like, the Sentret and everything, like, and the Chikorita, like, use the tank to fucking blast through shit and watch, like, Ash and crew and Team Rocket try to team up together to save it.
This was basically a Mad Max Fury Road, but Pokemon.
Yes, it was. Like, if in Mad Max Fury Road, like, a toddler had got behind the wheel of, like, the war rig, and they had to go stop it, but they didn't have a car of their own.
That'd be a very different movie.
That would be that'd be interesting. That'd be a very different movie. Team Rocket decided to, like, explain their plan to Ash and crew by putting on beards and acting like old people. There's a lost in translation.
They're saying I think they were dressed up as, like, hermits experts. Like, I think that's what they're supposed to be, like sages. Like, we have perfected the art of hole digging.
Yeah.
So, like, and that's why
yeah.
they dress up as Dugtrio later, which is
right.
fucking fantastic, and they stick with that.
They do, because Meowth gets out of the Dugtrio costume, and you expect to cut back and Team Rocket and Misty and James are out of it.
No,
they're still in the Dugtrio costume. It was so great.
And they're like, oh, I guess we should get out of this.
And then Ash and or I guess before that, Ash and Crew are like dressed up as like army people.
And Brock and Misty fucking rock that outfit.
They do. Ash looks like he's playing like
he's playing soldier.
He's playing soldier. Brock and Misty are both like owning those outfits though.
They're they're gym leaders. They were like, if the war that took place, like the war that took Ash's father away, was still going, they would have been in the army.
Yeah, and they would have made it, especially Brock. Brock makes that, he owns that costume so well. He really does. It's great. There's a lot that, like, the episode was very one thing, but it flowed so well that, like, it's hard to pick out individual moments to talk about. That makes sense.
Because we're already, that 2/3 now?
Yeah, like, it all flows together so nicely. Like, at the very end of the episode, they basically have to have Charizard and Onix and Sentret, who's like pushing against Charizard, who's pushing against the machine, to try to stop it from hitting a town. And meanwhile, Pikachu and Meowth are both like they both went into the tank to try to stop it, but they both got caught up in like the wires and shit. They're just bouncing around from the wires. Oh gosh.
Why was there a town there in the first place?
I don't fucking know.
Because then they thank them for like, oh hey, you made a tunnel.
Yeah, you made like a hole through that mountain. We've been trying to figure out how to do that so we could just get through.
But why were you there in the first place? Don't go to a place if you can't just go through it. don't make a settlement if you can't do it.
Yeah, this episode was. I mean, that's the episode. It was fun. Like, I just had fun watching this.
Yeah.
My complaints, like, my only real complaints were like the animation, and really that's it. Like the animation, and sometimes like the general like execution wasn't on point.
For me, it was the animation and the one noteness. Like,
yeah,
I think this is one of her quickest reviews here. I think
exactly. Yeah, exactly right. But like at the same time,
that might be a good thing though.
Yeah, and at the same time, it works though because like I had fun and I was never bored, and it wasn't exactly like a Meowth rules type episode.
No,
but I had fun. I gave it 3 Voltorbs.
I gave it 3 too.
Nice. Next episode?
Next episode.
Cool. Episode number 136, Charizard's Burning Ambitions.
So, Charizard, it's revealed that he actually wants to be a businessman. Like, and so he says this to Ash in, like, broken Charizardese and, like, a little bit of English, like, Zard, business school. Sell flowers. And I was like, wow, Charizard, I see a lot of limitations with this, with you being a literal giant fire-breathing lizard, but do what you want to do, man. And so he does. And we see like this montage of him going to business school. It's a couple years later, so we do see Ash and stuff grew up. And yeah, Charizard's flaming flowers is the thing. That's the end of the episode. It was a good episode. I gave it 4 Voltorbs.
God damn it, Nick. Oh, shit. Okay, so this episode opens up. Fucking Christ, Nick. So this episode gets going, I like this review, with Team Rocket, with Ash, with Misty telling Ash, you know, you can't just have Charizard winning all your battles, and you're not gonna get any stronger if the only people you ever fight against are Team Rocket. And I'm like, dude, that was meta as shit. That's right. That's what we've been saying for like 100 episodes now.
Yeah. You're not gonna get badges that way.
And
I got the one.
Yeah. And then Team Rocket's like, yeah, that Charizard, seriously, we got like 5 Pokemon and they're all weak as shit. Where they got like 12 and they're all pretty strong.
Especially that Charizard.
Like, we can't do shit against that Charizard. I really enjoyed that whole bit of them analyzing. Again, Team Rocket was really on point in this episode.
The part of the bit I didn't like, though, was like, Rug's like, yeah, not a lot of people have Charizard, so it's a little unfair to use it. I'm like, too fucking bad for the other people. Like,
yeah.
Ash is a He's trying to, like, be the best Pokemon trainer. He should have the best Pokemon.
Although I think what Brock's point was a little bit more was like, dude, you only have like 2 really strong Pokemon, and the rest are weak as shit.
They should have made that more clear.
They
should have mentioned.
They should have.
Ash, why don't you use your other Pokemon more? Why don't you have, I don't know, a fucking Blastoise? Also,
Yeah. They get to this place where there's a bunch of Charizard, I guess, but they come across this one girl who like is a Charizard trainer, and she's like, I've heard of you. You beat Faulkner with your Charizard, and I think that's cool because this is like a Charizard sanctuary or whatever. And I have a Charizard named Charla, and her girl Charizard has like eyelashes and a bow.
It's kind of a Miss Piggy situation.
It is. It kind of sounded like Miss Piggy too. Like if Miss Piggy was like, I'm gonna be the one to voice Charizard now.
Yeah.
It was a little off-putting.
Can we just say that I find it hilarious that James thinks that like a Charizard's cry off in the distance is a sound that sounds like a sound.
That sounds like a sound.
Like, I had to think on that for like a second. Like, wait.
Well, I guess, he's not wrong.
That's true.
This was another one where, like, the animation was, like, really good.
Really good.
Really good.
This is the most animated Charizard has ever been.
Yeah, by a wide margin. And even the other characters, like, they had really good movement and facial expressions and everything. I was quite impressed with the animation in this one, like, as well.
In comparison, Charizard hasn't had a character. Hasn't been a character.
Yeah. In this episode, he really was. Like, the lady is like, all right, let's fly on our Charizards to the Charizard, like, main place, and I'll show you how that is.
And Charlotte's doing it, like, easily. Like, she's carrying, like, a cart that Brock and Misty are in, and, like, also carrying...
Also, her on top of the Charizard itself, she has, like, a phone that also connects to a landline that's in the cart, which is bizarre, but...
Hey, it makes sense. I mean, like, you can't fucking hear people if you're flying in the air like that.
That makes sense. It doesn't make sense that's a fucking landline, but it makes sense.
No, it doesn't, no.
It's like a rotary phone. And Ash gets on Charizard to, like, ride Charizard to follow her, but Charizard's like, nah, man, I can't do that.
Like, what is this? Oh, God!
Why are you riding me? What is it? We've never done this before.
And you argued Charizard couldn't learn fly in red and blue, but it could in yellow.
That's true.
And Ash is definitely the trainer for Pokemon Yellow.
You had me there. It's not like he's found the HM for that.
Yeah, but, like, the Pokemon can still learn fly, and it's not like HMs are a thing, or even TMs are a thing right now.
That train is super fucking loud. Sorry, audience, if you can hear this over this.
Forrest lives on the wrong side of the tracks.
Apparently.
I'm
a rebel.
Yeah. Rebel yell. Forrest is a modern Molly Ringwald.
Except a man and not a redhead.
Except a man and not a redhead. And
not an 80s movie. So
not an 80s movie.
Really, and not much to do with that.
I mean, the railroad.
At all.
That's
the only thing, and it's very loosely tied together. Let's move on from this. The scene with Ash riding Charizard was both hilarious and really, like, interesting, like, character setup.
And eye-opening, too.
And eye-opening. Because up to this point, Charizard has just been, like, this unstoppable powerhouse.
Like, the only reason Charizard is lost is because it didn't battle.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's had a perfect, like, battle record. Minus against Lance and the Dragonite. But it took a fucking Dragonite to take him down. Mm-hmm. Like, that's impressive.
A pseudo-legendary.
Yeah, that's impressive no matter which way you slice it. But here we see Charizard struggling. We see, like, a vulnerability that he hasn't had. And it's also done in a really funny way.
It's desperately, like, flapping its wings like a bat. Like
the animation is so good. It's so funny. And he's just, like, hopping around and he's bouncing into shit.
And he's, like, tired and panting, like, ah.
He finally gets to where they're going, and he's just, like, about to pass the fuck out. And Ash is like, that was no problem for us to get here.
And Charizard's like,
cuts him off. Oh my god. They get to the Charizard...
The Charific Valley?
Yeah, the Charific Valley. I keep saying Charizard Sanctuary. I think it's more like a Charizard, like...
Grounds?
Just like a mating area or something? Or like a...
It's like a literal training area, I think.
Yeah. It's like the Charizard Dojo or something.
Where are the Charmanders and Charmeleon?
They never explain it. I wish they had. Like, that could have been, like, just a... With an episode like this that's so rich in its own inner lore... That could have just been one thing to make it even more alive.
I wouldn't mind if this was a two-parter.
Yeah, me neither, because I thought this was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm actually going to raise my score a little bit on this one.
I thought this was a really good episode. But, like, just, like, a little, like, throwaway, like, oh, yeah, like, the Charmander and Charmeleon, like, work really hard, like, for most of their lives to become a Charizard so they can come here. Where, like, all these Charizard are really tall and really strong, and Ash's Charizard challenges the other Charizard. God, that's getting, like, exhausting to keep track.
Charizard.
Charizard. Ash's Charizard challenges one of the other Charizard, and it's, like, one of the smaller ones in the group, but it's still, like, way fucking taller than Ash's Charizard. And it just destroys Ash's Charizard.
No, that one
hands its ass to him.
If I remember right, that Charizard is the biggest Charizard.
What? I thought
but it's also the gentlest.
Oh, is that what she said?
Yeah, like height does not mean power in these Charizards. But Ash's Charizard is still fucking tiny.
Yeah, either way, the point was that this was one of the lesser Charizard in the chain, and it still just, like, demolishes Ash's Charizard.
And the thing is, it was a really fucking good battle.
Oh my god. This was, like, better than 80% of the battles that have been in the whole show.
I think the only battle that's been better so far is against Blaine.
Yeah, like, this was surprisingly really good. Like, the choreography alone, like, he's using his tail to smack Charizard aside.
It was brutal.
Yeah. And you see, like, Charizard, like, gets thrown out and into the ocean. He's, like, trying to climb the steps, come back, and challenge the other Charizard again. And, like, you can kind of feel the freaking Charizard's pain because of the way it's animated and the way it moves. And
like, so finally, the bigger Charizard, like, knocks Charizard into the water.
Yeah.
And before the Charizard could get back, Ash's Charizard could get back up the stairs, they fucking closed the gates on him.
And some of the best imagery in the show, they just close the gate
You're
off.
too weak.
And then Charizard's, like, banging against the door to try to get in and like, fight some more. And Team Rocket, like, is cheering on Charizard.
Because they're like, this Charizard is so prideful, but it's losing like we do all the time.
Yeah. And they're just like, man, we kind of want to see this Charizard do his thing. Like, and they have some really good, like, back and forth about, like, how they want the Charizard to succeed. God, what was the girl's name? The Charizard trainer. What was her name?
It started with a CHR2. It was like Charlena.
I'm just going to call her the Charizard trainer.
Okay, yeah.
The Charizard trainer opens up the gate, and it's actually... Again, I found this really effective, like, the way that she treats Ash's Charizard at this point, because in the beginning, she's so fucking excited and so accepting of the fact that there's a trainer who has a Charizard, and she's just gung-ho about it. And now we get to this point, it's like a reverse arc where she's just like, you suck. Like, get out of here, man. Like you're not
come back when you're stronger.
Yeah, and she, like, tells him just fucking wait over here, and maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow. And Charizard is standing, like, waist deep in the water, trying to keep his tail above the water. And he's standing there all night, and fucking Team Rocket's, like, encouraging him, throwing rocks at him to keep him awake and shit.
Charizard's fucking muttering to itself, like,
yeah.
I want to be stronger. I have to be stronger.
Yeah.
And it's like doing, like, like, it's weird how, like, small its mouth is moving. Yeah. You don't see that in Pokemon.
No, you don't. You do not. Ash is kind of torn up about it. Because on one hand, he wants his Charizard to achieve the things that it wants, but at the same time...
He wants his Charizard.
He wants his Charizard. Like, that... Out of all... We've had so many, like, released Pokemon episodes at this point, like 3 or 4.
Best one by far.
Best by a very, very wide margin. This is the best one so far.
Oh. Like it's steak versus bologna.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's just so much more at stake here. Like, there's just so more... Yeah, thank you. There's just so much more at stake here. Like, there's just pride, but also, like, love and affection, and, like, you're my Charizard, but at the same time, like, I care about you, and I want you to achieve the things that you want. So, the very end of this episode, the Charizard trainer says, you know what, Charizard? You've done fucking really well. Why don't
you beat up Team Rocket. By the way,
Team Rocket, they help out Charizard.
So in the morning...
Oh my god, this part.
In the morning... Great. By the way, Team Rocket bought, like, a really, really shitty robot.
Like
it's a giant bug catcher robot.
It looks aggressively shitty robot.
Like, it looks like a knockoff Pinocchio.
Yes.
So they kind of just come up and say, oh, we're gonna steal you, Charizard, ha ha ha. And then they just stand there, and Charizard just like,
blasts it away.
And they're just standing there while it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
It's like a 40-second shot of Charizard burning this thing's dick.
And then before they blast off, they say, "Hey, we're blasting off again." And then they blast off, and they're just smiling. Like,
yeah, they're just so happy that they can help. They shouldn't be villains, man. They should just be like good guys. They're just like they're on the wrong side of the field.
They are.
Like they so are.
Team Rocket just needs to get into the entertainment industry and do what they do.
Own it, yeah.
Without stealing Pokemon.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. So
and then they let Charizard.
Well, they're like, all right, Charizard, we're going to let you in.
Not because he beat up Team Rocket, because he showed you have heart.
Yeah. And then Ash is like, I can't just like stay here and train with you, which a little bit bullshit. He almost could, like, because
could he?
I guess not. No, because he has to do his own thing. Like, he can't stay here and train with Charizard and only Charizard for months and months at a time. When he has other Pokemon, he also needs to look after.
And the point of this valley is that these are wild Charizard training each other.
Yeah.
So having a trainer be there would like ruin the fucking integrity of the whole fucking thing, and there's no point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
the lady. No, fuck it. Her name's in
the lady.
The lady.
She
Charizard
just
trainer.
looks over them. She doesn't like do anything.
She's like, she even when she offers to let her Charizard, Charla, battle Ash's Charizard, she's like, I guess you can do it, but like this is one of these Charizards. This just happens to be my Charizard that I caught and raised from a Charmander. So it's not going to mean the same thing even if you do beat it, but you're welcome to try. And like her Charizard still kicks Charizard ass. So the very end of this episode, and like my only one and only real complaint, more like gripe with this episode, is at the very, very end, which I'll get to in a second, but at the very end of the episode, Ash knows he has to leave Charizard behind. He's like, okay, I can't bring you with me when you have this longing to be better like this, and this is a place where you clearly can do that. And I also can't stay with you and help you here because that's not my place to. So I have to leave you behind. And he has the most interesting goodbye to Charizard out of all the Pokemon that he's said goodbye to. Because
stay here if you want. I hope we meet up again, but we don't have to. Yeah,
he kind of white fangs it where he's like, no, I don't want you anymore. And he turns around and he runs. And then it like freeze frames and the narrator has to say like the final moment, which is that Ash knows that if he looks back, he's going to weaken and try to go back for it. And I wish that, and that moment was kind of abrupt, and I kind of wish that they just let it play out. It was a very
abrupt ending.
I wish they had let it play out, because that would have made it like
if Ash just walked off into the sunset with nothing, like that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, like I guess like if this was a 25-minute show instead of a 22-minute show, we could have had this like really great like long shot of Ash walking away, and you think, oh man, he's gonna look back, he just never looks back.
Brutal. So
I fucking love this episode, Nick.
Yeah, I'm giving this 4 Voltorbs.
I totally gave this 4 Voltorbs.
Oh yeah! Force 4!
It's like my 4th 4. And this is my first 4 Voltorb episode in like 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it earns it, man. It really does.
It does a phenomenal job. Now, is it my favorite 4? No. But it's better than a 3.5.
It is. Like, this was such a surprising, like, episode. I didn't think that they managed to put this kind of arc into like a Charizard story after we've already gone through so much of an arc with Charizard's story. I was really impressed.
I mean, once you're able to like get past the wall that Charizard has, here's the rest of Charizard's personality.
Yeah.
And Charizard's Vegeta.
He really is. He is. He's
proud. He doesn't fight if like he doesn't think it's worthy, and like he'll fucking.
He's not going to draw it out either. If he's going to fight, he's either going to finish it in a second or he's going to lose, kind of.
And then he has to go off and train solo because, like, yeah, Trunks will try and help, but no, Trunks is just going to, like...
It's also kind of a pride thing. He has to, yeah.
He has to get stronger.
He has to himself. This is about, like, his thing. Yeah, this was such a good episode.
Next episode,
man. Can't wait to see how we go uphill from here.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah! Episode number 137, Grin to win. Let me know if this statement is somewhat accurate. It seems like every time the anime has a really, really, really good episode. They followed up immediately with a really lackluster episode.
I have to go back and check, but I think that sounds right.
It feels right, doesn't it?
It feels right.
Especially after this one. The last episode had Charizard being left behind to train with other Charizard to become stronger and satisfy its urge to be like an amazing fighter. This one has happy plants.
Happy plants. Happy of the same plant.
Yep.
I would have liked this episode more if they just had like different flower Pokemon. It could have been the flower Pokemon festival, not just a fucking Sunflora.
Yeah, it could have been. But no, that would have been more than one Pokemon. We can't do more than one Pokemon in a single day.
Have the characters of the day be a Sunflora, and like the antagonist has a Vileplume or something.
Yeah. So my first note on this episode happened like 6 minutes into the episode, so I'm guessing I was kind of in a haze.
Yeah, my first note was during the contest.
Wow.
Well, I could have had one note before, but like I just said it. I saved it for later. I knew you would talk about it too.
Yeah. Was it about the guy's face?
And Cyrus?
Yeah.
And how he's like a fucking dwarf?
Yeah, but he's really broad, and then he has like the weirdest drawn smile.
Oh, I'm talking about like Lord of the Rings dwarf. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has like a weird voice too.
And like a weird nose.
Yeah.
Like he fits in the Pokemon anime, but it's like a weird guy in the Pokemon anime.
Like it's weird that you're a side character and not the character of the day who's like mildly insane.
I wouldn't mind following Cyrus around.
Yeah, he was a little weird looking.
I mean, he was weird looking, but like that would be charm. Like, man, I'm just trying to raise these pretty Sunflora, even though I'm weird looking and everyone makes fun of me. And Ash is like, oh, if you believe in yourself, your Sunflora will be as pretty as you are on the inside. And Cyrus would be like, yo, you mean it? And Ash was like, I do.
This episode, they come across, the Ash and crew come across this girl who has a bunch of Sunflora, and
her name was like Sunrisa.
I remember because I was like, oh, her name is Sunrise with an A at the end.
Oh. Damn it.
So this episode is like, well, these are my Sunflora. We're going to go into competition. This one's sad. And then they spend like 30 seconds making faces at the sad Sunflora to make it happy. And then we kind of drop this plot point for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just pick it up again later. Because, again, Team Rocket was the best part of this episode when they like break in and everything.
And like they're trying to take a bunch of Sunflora.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to infiltrate the contest.
Yeah. Because I think first their idea was to steal the Sunflora. Was that right?
Yeah.
But then Meowth trips an alarm and he gets caught by Cyrus?
Cyrus catches him.
Misty saves Meowth's ass so that way they can use Meowth as a translator
to figure out why Sunrisa's Sunflora is sad. Turns out her Sunflower, she misses her friend Sunflora.
We're making this sound interesting. It's not. They settle this plot. This plot point comes out of nowhere, like 10 minutes in. They settle it like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, it turns out the Sunflora, the main Sunflora, is sad because it misses the other Sunflora.
It's not even really the main Sunflora because it had like a second of screen time before this event happened.
But it's the one that wins. Like I don't know what
like,
you want.
I
don't know how you want me to refer to the Sunflora.
The one that's most different, I guess.
The sad Sunflora is sad
because it has like a second of screen time. Other Sunflora have more screen time than this one does up to this point.
Yeah, but this one's the one that like it's the characters of the day, Sunflora.
Well, they all are, aren't they?
No. Like this whole forest, this whole fucking town, this whole goddamn town has Sunflora. This was my first note. This town fucking loves Sunflora. There's 100 different Sunflora in this episode. This is the main Sunflora because like I think we see it more than once, and because it's the characters of the day main Sunflora. The one that she plans on entering into the contest. I'm not
okay, so I'm not going to question your logic, but I am going to point out that it's stupid because that Sunflora has such low screen time. Right before they discovered that its problem is, I'm sad because I don't have my friend anymore.
Well, they showed it was being sad before. Like
they do. But I'm saying like it was on screen for like a second.
Oh, and more screen time than Cyrus's prize Sunflora.
The big ass fuck one.
The one that looks like a person in a Sunflora costume.
Yes. But before we get there, man, they have to like solve this plot point of the Sunflora like and its friend, like they've been split up because the other one went to Cyrus, who they discover then sent it to the Pokemon Center's Nurse Joy, And then
the Nurse Joy had she had to mulch it because she had to feed other Pokemon. So the Sunflora is even sadder because it has to deal with the death of its dear friend. But because of that sadness, it eternally blooms into it side evolves into a different form of Sunflora, and it wins the contest because it's just so dark and blue and just sad. And when people see it, they invoke the image of pure sadness in their own minds, and they're like, wow. Nothing has given me an emotional...
spent longer explaining this alternate Sunflora timeline than it took for them to get from Meowth translating the Sunflora to the Sunflora being happy because it's found his friend again. That took way less time than you explaining what you just explained.
I mean, what's the point of even trading to the Nurse Joy? Just say, oh yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, I know, because he's like, oh yeah, I gave it to Nurse Joy. They go to Nurse Joy within in a cutscene, and then it's like, oh yeah, here you go. He traded it
to Nurse Joy.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh yeah, here you go, and then they're happy again. Yeah. That's the end of it. This episode had 6 plots somehow, and they all were just like, wow, here's a plot. Oh, it's better.
So let's get to the best part of this episode.
The competition?
The competition.
Yeah, because there's a guy... Okay, so it looks like there's a man in a Sunflora costume because this Sunflora is so fucking tall. And then Meowth is in his own Sunflora costume. With tape and paper and shit.
And Meowth just looks so fucking its face is stretched out.
Yes.
The mouth is taped together. Its eyes are taped shut. Snubbull makes a reappearance.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh great, is this gonna be Snubble's episode? Is he the new Jigglypuff? Guess what? He's the new Jigglypuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, but okay, you know how Jigglypuff fucking ruins the plot of the show and stops it dead center? Snubbull just gets rid of Team Rocket.
Yeah, that's kind of what he did. He saw Meowth's tail, bit it, and then they get blasted off.
Snubbull bites Meowth's tail, and what inspired me to write that note about everyone loving Sunflora is that the judge is like, that's not a Sunflora!
Yes! I wrote that too.
That's not one at all! Burn it! The Team Rocket has to reveal themselves and oh yeah, we're Team Rocket. Let's poison the Sunflora with too much sun. And so they activate these giant mirrors, which fucking inflate the heads of the Sunflora and they can't move.
I guess the idea was that it made them so strong they couldn't. I don't understand.
Stupid. Think of a waterbed, and it has the amount of water you're supposed to put in it. When you put in more water than it's supposed to have, it's gonna you can't use it. It's too it's gonna explode, or just be too stiff and stuff like that. It's too much in a limited space. That's what these Sunflora were having problems with.
I guess. So the main Sunflora uses Solar Beam and knocks Team Rocket away?
No.
Yes, that's exactly what it does.
It does, but it does that after they get rid of the mirrors, because Ash sends out his Chikorita and his Pikachu, and he tells Pikachu that he's Thunder Shock. Chikorita's all jealous, fuck you, Pikachu. Tackles Pikachu. So the Thundershock ends up hitting all the mirrors instead of Team Rocket, and then Sunflora hits them with Solar Beam now that it's able to stand back up.
This episode kind of got a little bonkers after a point with all that stuff going on. This episode went from nothing really happening to
a lot of things
happening. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And because it used Solar Beam, which I guess is the first time anyone's thought to use Solar Beam on Sunflora, Sunrisa's Sunflora wins the Sunflora championship.
Why isn't that a thing? Why don't other people get the chance to use Solar Beam?
I don't know.
That's such bullshit.
It is I agree.
You can't, okay, let's say you're in the Olympics and you're swimming. It's a swimming contest. There's some terrorists and they break in and they're like, haha, we're terrorists. I don't know what we're going to do, but whatever. That's not the point of this. And then one of the swimmers stops, takes out a gun, and shoots them. And then they give them the gold medal for I
was hoping that's where you were going to go with it, because that's the perfect analogy. Yeah, you give him a medal of commendation, or shake his hand.
Don't give him
the gold medal. Yeah, that's not how that works.
By all means, Cyrus's Sunflora should have won because it's just freakishly huge.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for it not to. The Elephant Man Sunflora, why should it not
That
win?
is a feat all in its own.
Yes.
But the Sunrisa's Sunflora wins because its smile is so positive. when it has the fucking same smile as all the other fucking Sunflora, because that's what Sunflora is. It's a smiling sunflower.
How many Voltorbs did you give this episode?
I gave this 1.5.
I did too.
Yeah.
I just changed my score from 2 because originally when we were watching it, I was like, well, Team Rocket's pretty entertaining, but now that I think about it, I'm like, Team Rocket was entertaining, but
Team Rocket was entertaining,
what else was going on?
That's it.
That's really it. This episode was like it was just so about so many different stupid fucking things when all they needed to do was focus it on the sad Sunflora trying to become happy, and it turns out it's because of its friend who. Why couldn't the friend Sunflora be Cyrus's giant Sunflora? Wouldn't that have been more interesting?
That would have been.
Wouldn't that put a different dynamic on it? Like, oh, my friend is also the one I'm competing against?
That's not what happened, though.
Nope. That is a dumb episode. Next
episode.
All right, Nick, are you ready for the last episode of this episode of our podcast?
If you ask me that with a different word structure, yes.
Are you ready for the final review of this podcast?
Yes.
All right,
Wait,
cool.
no, because now it's like, this is the final review of our podcast forever?
Okay, are you ready for the final episode review of this episode of our podcast?
Is that the best we could... Okay, yeah.
Are you ready for episode number 138, Chikorita's Big Upset?
To review it? Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, fuck. I had like 4 notes on this one.
I had 2.
I didn't have any until... I only had 1 before the fucking robot shows up.
Me too. Mine was, this is the hottest Joy we've seen by far.
She was the most interesting... You know what? I'm going to argue that the Joy from the Joy of Pokemon. Because she was like tanned and toned.
She was tanned and toned, but like, okay. So... This Joy in Chikorita's Big Upset is an adult. Like, she's not Nurse Joy, by the way. She's like Dr. Joy. Because like she's like a psychologist. She helps people like agree with their Pokemon more. Like, she helps them settle their arguments and disputes.
Which, by the way, how fucking interesting is that as a concept for this show?
Why wasn't that in this more?
I know! Like, that was mentioned at the beginning. They had, like, a brief little, like, conversation about it, and then nothing. And then at the very end, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, wasn't it cool how we solved that problem with psychology? And I'm like...
We didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. You do not get to claim that as your...
But then... Let me talk about how hot this Joy is. She's in a lab coat and, like casual adult business attire, like, so she's not like playing make-believe nurse like all the other Nurse Joys are in like that fucking childish outfit that they are in. And what did the Joy of Pokemon wear? Like a bikini thing?
No, it was like a sweatsuit.
Like a sweatsuit. I mean, yeah, it was a sweatsuit. Like if I'm gonna be crass, it didn't highlight her boobs that well. This Nurse Joy, this Dr. Joy, her boobs were pretty well highlighted. Like, you could see the undertone of them. I'm like, okay, like, yeah. So, and there's a reason why this is the Joy featured in the Brock Jenny O Jenny Joy O Joy song.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. We need to have like a girl come on our show and review like an episode with like an attractive male Pokemon character. I don't know who that'd be.
Or just call me on and say, Nick, you're such a chauvinistic asshole. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
Or that. This episode opens in the middle of a battle, which I always love when they do that, when they just throw you into the middle of a battle. They do that quite a lot. Yeah, isn't that cool? It puts you right into the moment, doesn't it?
It does. Like, oh, okay, it has my attention right now.
Yeah, exactly. So Raticate is kicking Chikorita's ass, and Ash is like, Chikorita, come back, you've had enough. And Chikorita's like,
No, I mean, put it to attacks. And then it does, and then the Raticate's like, oh, shit, ow. And then Ash is like, okay, you've hit it, come back. She was like, fuck you, no. And then the mysterious mom says, schoolboy, time for dinner.
And interrupts the battle, so I can't... He's had 5 interrupted battles by my account, so...
This is kind of a loss or a win.
I would have. No, I wouldn't have counted it either because it was just interrupted. I'd say that he would have sent out another Pokemon that would have kicked this kid's ass.
Mm.
I mean,
because he was trying to.
Yeah, it was like Eradicate. Like, I know they're somewhat strong when you're lower leveled, but Ash is way above that.
He doesn't have his Charizard anymore. I don't know, man.
Pikachu.
He also has a Heracross.
And Heracross. So yeah, he would have won. He would kick some ass.
And Bulbasaur has 2 insta-kill moves.
Yes.
Sleep Powder and Leech Seed.
Fucking A. You go. Bulbasaur. Okay, so you know what I just realized?
What?
Because I've been wondering, like, okay, so in like the new last 2 generations of Pokemon, there's affection and there's friendship, and it's like there's a difference between them.
Yes.
Chikorita has really high affection, but it hasn't earned all of Ash's friendship yet.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yep. Like, this Chikorita loves the shit out of Ash, but it doesn't trust him in battle yet.
And I would say Charizard's the opposite.
Yeah,
It has earned all that friendship, but it had no fucking affection.
It had no fucking affection. I love that there's a difference between
That's
those.
really
and they
insightful.
make
Damn.
it makes sense, doesn't it?
Shit, nice.
Thank you. See, that should have been explored in this fucking... Like, they could have talked about that a little bit, like... Because then they come across this Nurse Joy, and it turns out she's a psychologist, and she can tell Ash about, like, her Chikorita's relationship with him, and she could have said shit like, well, it seems like your Chikorita really fucking loves you a lot, but you haven't earned its trust yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's what should have said. Instead, she was just like, yeah, it likes you, and now it wants to...
And it's jealous of Pikachu.
And just a Pikachu, and now it's gonna run away, which it does, because they left the fucking door open.
Well, Pikachu, or Chikorita broke out of its Pokeball.
It did, but they still left the fucking door open.
I mean, even if they didn't, Chikorita could just fine whipped it open.
Yes.
They're capable of using tools.
But they still left the door open. I mean, it's a difference between my monkey knows how to, like, sort of knows how to open doors, and I left the door wide open and my monkey got out.
Do you have a monkey?
Yeah.
Oh shit, what's his name?
His name is Bonanza.
That's a very bad name for a monkey, man.
It is a great-ass monkey, though. Bonanza, come in here.
Wow, Bonanza. What, Forrest, why don't you tell me about Bonanza? Well, Bonanza keeps screeching.
You know I can edit this together, so it sounds like that's what's happening, right?
Oh, well, now you just said you can edit this together, so fuck off.
And I can edit that out.
No, you're lying. You're lying to our members, to our viewers.
Oh, shit. Basically, the Chikorita gets away because it's doing a really shitty emotional manipulation thing where
it runs away to gain attention.
Which, fuck you. Sorry, that doesn't... After certain events in my life, that doesn't sit very well.
You have
with
emotional
me.
baggage with that?
Yeah, so anyway. So it runs away, and Pikachu follows it because Pikachu's nice.
Yeah, it's like...
hey, man, come back.
Hey, like, don't get in trouble, okay? Like,
yeah. Well, Chikorita comes across this warehouse and gets involved with some shit.
Like, there's like a gang of wild fighting Pokemon.
Yeah.
Led by what I would hope is Ash's Primeape. I just love that idea.
It's just, this Primeape is leading these, like, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machoke.
And they're, like, just out causing shit.
Yeah. But then, like, Chikorita comes across Primeape and just whoops his ass in 2 moves, and the Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machoke are like,
You're the new boss.
You the new boss, man. Nah, man, nah, man. Whatever you want.
Yeah, boss. Oh boy. Hey, do we need to get some protection money from the things? And Chikorita's like, what are you talking about? Well, we're the Pokemon Mafia. You Team Rocket? No, we're Pokemon and we're a mafia. Oh, I see.
Like, we actually go out, we kill some bitches. That's what we do.
And we're Pokemon, so it makes sense.
I would love like a mini short episode, like a spin-off of Chikorita leading around this gang of fucking fighting type Pokemon. That would just like be my shit for like a day.
Yeah, have you read the manga Sunken Rock?
No,
Read the manga Sunken Rock. It's about a Korean guy who moves to Japan, but like he's really good at fighting, I think, so he accidentally becomes the head of like this gang and they expand.
Maybe that's what it's referring to, because that's almost what it felt like.
I mean, this is Sunken Rock is newer than this episode is.
No.
So it'd be weird if it were. But that's the feeling I was getting. Like, it's, oh, this person who has no interest in fucking being a gang leader is all of a sudden a gang leader. Great.
It was like I wrote this down. It's like Breaking Bad for Chikorita.
Yeah.
Chikorita broke bad. She accidentally became just like the head. I don't know if it was accidental in Breaking Bad. I haven't got that far yet. But still.
It's not. I mean, I don't know.
It kind of starts out that way.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it starts out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, where he seems like he accidentally becomes like this awesome crime boss without really meaning to. So Team Rocket come in, and they have this giant-ass, like, Michelin Man tire robot. That's fucking awesome.
I remembered this episode because of that robot.
Yeah.
Like, this was the first Team Rocket machine that I was truly like, oh, shit, this is the cool machine.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, like
that kind of made this episode. Actually, I won't say that made this episode because parts of this episode were actually really interesting and engaging. Because Chikorita becomes like head of this like little mini fighting type gang.
Yeah.
And then like they have to take down this giant robot. It's ridiculous because when Ash and crew come across it, Ash is like, all right, that antenna up there is what we need to hit in order to stop the robot because that's what's communicating with Team Rocket. Go Heracross. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's an interesting...
Yeah, Heracross can fly up there.
Heracross can fly up and just like hit it. Maybe he like punches the robot while he's at it. And then Ash is like, fling me up there. And I'm like, you fucking...
No,
God
Ash.
damn it.
So then he
misses.
So then Ash has to climb a fucking ladder that a water tower just happens to be right next to it. And then he misses again. So the Chikorita like catches Ash and like has to like fling him up. And he just happens to land on the head, and that's when Ash breaks off the antenna. Like,
and then they blast off Team Rocket.
Where did they get the money for this contraption and the last contraption? They spent their life savings. They specifically said this.
They've done favors for Giovanni. Favors, Nick. So they destroyed Team Rocket, or the robot blast off Team Rocket. They have a couple really good bits in there too. Like, they really were on point all 5 of these episodes.
Like, Team Rocket was like, Meowth was too high in the balloon, but Jesse and James weren't.
Yes.
To get shocked.
And Meowth was like, well, every man for himself, whatever, fuck you.
So yeah, he cuts them loose. This is what confused me. He cuts them loose with his claws, and then they just land on the robot and make it explode. And Meowth says, this isn't what I was expecting.
It's like you were right above the robot, dude.
What were you expecting?
Do you just have no situational awareness? Nah, that checks out.
Yeah.
And so at the very end of the episode, Dr. Joy is like, see, told you, Chikorita just needed to have some attention or whatever I said. And I'm like...
Pay me.
I don't know. Pretty much, yeah. And I'm like, I don't think that was conveyed at all in this episode.
No, it was, because, like, Ash has, like, Pikachu on his left, Chikorita on his right shoulder.
At the very end. Yeah.
So,
I mean...
It
wasn't really a from point A to point B type of arc, but it was
like an A-B.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't bored or anything by this episode. I gave it 2.5 Voltorbs.
I gave it 2, but I'm probably gonna raise it to 2.5.
Like, it's not like it's got like a fucking giant robot and Chikorita becoming like a crime lord for like a second of all these fighting type Pokemon. Like, interesting stuff happens. It's just like there's this weird disconnect between like what this episode is trying to say with the psychology shit and what it's actually doing in the plot.
You know what would be a good... So if the Pokemon crime drama is a TV series, you know who would be a good character? Machamp with 3 arms. Because like one of its arms was like chopped off because like of a
the crime
drug bust or something.
The boss took out is like, all right, Scyther, that Machamp's not been doing his part. You gotta take off one of his arms. And Machamp's like, no! And like to him on Lee and him on like Chan are like holding his other 3 arms. And then like Scyther grabs it and chops off his arm. And the boss is the Honchkrow. And he's like, yeah. Now we're gonna do things my way around here. You got that, Machamp? Or should I say Machamp?
Oh shit, Machamp. God damn. Yeah, okay.
Alright, so now we have 3. We have Pokemon Heist Movie, we have Pokemon Earth, and now we have Pokemon Gangster.
Which one was Pokemon Earth?
It's the Planet Earth documentary series.
Ah, about the actual
Pokemon.
Yeah, okay. Damn. Shit. Oh, and then the Team Rocket, like, this could be an episode instead of a series, but like the Team Rocket having to ask Giovanni for money.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's 4. That's 4 really good. Damn, we should be making this shit, man. Ready for the Pokemon of the day?
Yes, I am.
Yes. All right, Nick. Ready for our first pick a Pokemon randomly out of a hat that we've had in 2 months?
I'm kind of dreading this because I had grown used to the simplicity and the lack of anxiety for picking a bad Pokemon.
There's
but
a
honestly,
lot of good Pokemon.
honestly, how much worse can I pick? There's like some of the Eevee evolutions I don't use, and then like there's not a lot of Pokemon that are duds at this point. I'm sure I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna eat my words.
I'm sure you're gonna find one.
So let's just go with
between 1 and 316.
Let's go with 168.
All right, Nick. And the Pokemon of the week is Camerupt.
Actually, I can talk about Camerupt. Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad then.
Yeah.
I'm glad then. You know what? Camrupt's interesting.
I am a fan of Camerupt, actually.
I love his design and concept.
His concept is fucking fantastic.
It really
a
is,
camel that's full of volcanoes, like what the, you can't get more Pokemon than that.
You really can't.
I need to name my next one DJ Roomba.
That's funny.
Are you a Parks and Rec fan? I always forget.
Oh, no.
No?
I just assumed like Roomba, like a Roomba, and then just DJ's funny.
Oh, yeah, no. Roomba, because, Roomba. But also, DJ Roomba is like a little thing that Aziz Ansari's character has in Parks and Rec.
Right on. I still like it.
But it's a Roomba, yeah. Its Megaform is.
Yeah. Its Megaform is interesting. That's one Megaform I haven't used yet, and I feel like I should.
I haven't used it yet, but I have it ready.
You have it ready to go?
Like, I want to use it, but I gotta be real specific with it. Like, let me talk about mine, and then I'll tell you why you gotta be specific.
Sure.
So it has Earth Power, Will-O-Wisp, Ancient Power, and Fire Blast. And then it's holding the Camerupt type.
Yeah.
Now, also, its speed is decent. Like, it's one of my few 4 perfect IV Pokemon, not 5, 4. Because it only has 5 pretty good attack. You want this to be slow as fucking possible because you weren't going to run this in a goddamn trick room while it's sunny.
That is a very good point.
That is a very good point. If it's sunny and it's a trick room, this thing is going to be a goddamn monster.
That's true.
It will destroy everything else.
Mega Camerupt's ability is Sheer Force. That will completely...
Yup.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, right on. I can totally dig that.
So those Fire Blasts, they're going to be boosted by a 0.5, plus the other 0.25 because of the type, plus the Sheer Force boost.
Plus, Mega Camerupt has some very decent bulk. And with it being sunny, the water moves aren't going to be powered down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, I can get behind this. I'm always a little, about Camerupt. Not that I dislike it. But I just find it very difficult to use.
It is difficult to use. Like, you gotta make sure that setup's right.
Yeah. But just because a Pokemon is difficult to use doesn't mean it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think a lot of Pokemon become very underrated because people are just like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to go through all that trouble. I can just slap a choice band on my Talonflame.
I'm on Talonflame.
Yeah, that's how those people sound in my head. I don't know.
See.
Camerupt's cool. You want to have a... Did you have anything else to say about it for introductory
purpose? For introductory purposes? Well, we'll talk about how cute it is later, along with Nummel and...
Nummel's adorable.
Nummel... Dude, there are Nummels everywhere in Pokemon Go.
I finally got my Camerupt in Pokemon Go.
Finally? Like, how...
It took me a minute. I was having a hard time finding them for a while, but then they started popping up fucking everywhere.
Because it's sunny now, and, the weather is a thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about regular Camerupt for a minute.
Yeah.
Because that one's really interesting. Camerupt's fucking cute. Look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
He is.
Look at him.
He's a cute Pokemon.
That's when you should zoom in on his face and just be like, it's so cute. And
it's so cute.
Put the sparkle in his eye.
So his abilities are Solid Rock, which is always a pretty handy ability because it dulls down super effective attacks.
So that water moves are good to do less damage.
Mm-hmm. And if you manage to get the Sunny Day up first, like, yeah, okay, you're pretty good to go.
Like, you almost don't even take weakness. It's just a very good hit.
I really need to redo my Camerupt because I feel like my Camerupt could be a lot better than what it is. My Camerupt has fucking terrible IVs, so it just goes down like that. But then it's like, its hidden ability is Anger Point.
What's its attack versus its special attack?
Really a lot closer than you probably think it is.
I mean, Camerupt to me seems like a pretty well-rounded Pokemon. It's just slow. Yeah, like, that's nothing. There's, like, no difference.
Yeah.
Only when it's a Mega form is it a boost.
And even then, it's still not that different. Like, and regular Camerupt's attack is 100 compared to 105 special attack. Like, yeah, you could use a freaking physical set.
Earthquake, Flare Blitz. Can it learn Flare Blitz?
I think it's only physical fire move, and I'm gonna check before. Fisher. Fisher's always great. Use it with like a rock move like Stone Edge or Rock Slide or something. That'd be fun. Flame Charge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only Flame Charge. It's only Flame Charge.
Maybe that's why you make it a special. So it's
physical. Who's gonna expect a fast boosting Camerupt though? Like a jolly Camerupt with Flame Charge and rock polish.
It's faster than my Golem.
Yeah.
Let me take out my Greninja and look at that. No fucking difference.
Alright, I finally got my Camerupt with 6 fucking Flame Charges. God damn it. Golduck. It's faster.
Ha.
I kind of wish I had a little bit more bulk outside of its Mega Form. Because outside of its Mega Form, you kind of...
It's average, bulk, 70, 75, like, up there, but...
yeah. You'd have to... And the HP is kind of what lets it down, too, with only a 70 HP. Mm-hmm. So if you did max HP and then max special attack, you're still not going to hang around too long is the only problem. And when you're as slow as that, it's hard to keep up.
Like, you have to, like... tank through them.
Yeah.
You have to set up a trick room.
Yeah. Which is why Mega Camerupt does make a little bit more sense, especially with that sheer force. I forgot that has that goddamn ability.
Yeah, it does.
But that is some very, very sharp turnaround in bulk. Mm-hmm. Like, good God. How much of a boost is that? That's a 100-point boost.
All Mega Evolutions are a 100-point boost.
Because it takes 20 out of speed to reissue elsewhere, too, which is awesome.
I think for a minute, Alakazam only had a 90 boost, but they fixed that in 7th generation.
Oh, did they? I thought there was one that had a little bit more. Isn't it like Sableye or something that has like more than 100 boost?
We'll force fact that.
So what do you think of his learn set? Like, you could do well with a curse fucking Camerupt. I mean, outside of Flame Charge, if you just wanted to like ignore the fire typing.
So if you just wanted to make like a defensive,
like
pure wall
a defense, a defensive
teach
wall.
Teach it Will-O-Wisp,
curse, max HP, max defense. Yeah, you could
teach it some rest or just. I feel like Camerupt would be a good Pokemon to learn Slack Off. But I don't think it does. I don't think
it does. It does not.
And then it does learn Amnesia as well.
But it does get Yawn.
Oh, there we go. Yawn.
Yeah. Like, if you were... Like, that'd be good if you were, like, doing a setup version of Camerupt, like, Yawn to either force a swap or have your opponent, like, just go to sleep and then set up for a couple turns and then destroy.
Destroy them all! Burn them!
I don't know what your other move would be.
Probably something to cover flying types.
Yeah, like Stone Edge or something. Like Stone Edge Fisher.
Rock Slide.
Stone Edge Fisher. Stone Edge Earthquake. Yeah, you do alright.
Yeah. There needs to be a goddamn better rock. I am sick of this bullshit.
Stone Edge
with its terrible accuracy. Rock Slide with its also terribly accuracy, but also weak.
Like, yeah, I know. I remember I used to think Rock Slide was so powerful back in the day, and then it's like, oh, actually, it's not that powerful.
Nah. You just had Pokemon that were weak to rock. That's the only reason it's useful. Let's talk about Numel.
Okay. Let's go over to little Numel.
Let's talk about the adorable little camel thing. That should have been Ash's fire Pokemon in Hoenn.
Oh, he's so cute. Look at him.
He's like,
Holy shit. This would make it for an awesome Little Cut Pokemon. Look at those abilities. Those abilities are all different from from Camerupt.
The Camerupt just gets like angrier when it evolves.
Yeah,
apparently.
Because his hidden ability is own tempo, which you can do some stuff with that.
Just goes like on his yeah, I'm on my own tempo. Don't mind me. And then when he evolves, he's like, "Oh, you critical hit me! I'm gonna kill you!"
Pretty much.
Yeah.
His regular abilities, though, especially if you're going to do either a boosting set or just a stall set.
Like 3 curses is all you need.
Yeah. Oblivious, so you can't get taunted, and which is always good for a stally Pokemon. And simple, which, holy fucking shit, I love that ability.
It's a really good ability if you use it right.
It's a really good ability. Let's see how his stats look for an Eviolite set. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah,
I've seen worse for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be like a wall little cup Pokemon.
Yeah. You know what? You can use him for a little bit of utility, yeah.
Yeah,
and your opponent definitely wouldn't expect it.
And he's adorable.
And I bet most people aren't super familiar with his abilities.
No, I'm definitely not. Its cry is adorable in the game one. Like, it just snorts like, oink, oink.
Does it?
And then Camerupt's like,
okay, we need to have just like at some point we just need to make a compilation video of you like mimicking cries from the games.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I don't mind that. Like pull up the Pokédex and then actually, hold on. I have my Pokédex right here.
Before we get to that, do you have any other final thoughts about Camerupt / Nummel? I realized that for our last one that just went up, I think for Typhlosion you didn't give your rating on. If you wanted to retcon that as well.
Thank you. I do want to retcon that because I noticed that the other
yeah
night.
I did too. I was like, shit, we forgot to do his.
So Typhlosion, I gave Feraligatr what, a 3.5?
I think you did.
I'm gonna give Typhlosion 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, Typhlosion gets 3. Yay, Typhlosion! Yay! Get the fuck out of here, Typhlosion. This week isn't about you. You're welcome. Don't look at me like that. That's right. Run away. You want me to downgrade you to 2? You're getting a 3. You're loving it. Jesus. So anyway, Camerupt gets a 3 as well.
What is keeping it from a higher grade, Nick? From a higher score?
You know how you mentioned it requires a lot of prep time in order to use? It requires a lot of prep time to use.
Even if you have Sunny Day on its moveset, you still, like, you gotta hope that you don't get hit by a
you
water
need the
move
Sunny
beforehand.
Day, and you need the Trick Room. Like, you don't, you could work with either or, but for its best utility, you want both.
But if you did, like, it would be a pretty sizable threat.
It would be. And
like, if you can get a Pokemon to set up Sunny Day and Trick Room beforehand, I would not know how to handle that fucking thing.
You know what? It's useful in double battles.
Yeah.
Because you can just have the other Pokemon use Trick Room and Sunny Day.
Definitely see that.
And then you just send on your Camerupt and it's like, yep.
I need to make more Trick Room sets myself. I only have like 4 Pokemon that really do well in Trick Room.
Yeah, I could make a Trick Room team, but I don't have enough Pokemon that actually know Trick Room.
Yeah, that's my problem too. I like Trick Room, but it's... You have
Why
to have
can't
like
that be an ability?
Dude, that would be a
automatic Trick Room.
God damn, that would be a bomb ass ability.
I mean, Rain and Sun is a thing.
Yeah, for real though. That'd be a fucking scary Pokemon too. Just like I feel like the concept of it would be like a psychic like dark or something. Like something really bizarre.
Every time I enter the field, I fucking like destroy
time. Yeah, like a time warper. Like why can't that be fucking Dialga's ability?
You know, that's probably what Primal or whatever Super Mega Ultra Dialga's ability is going to be.
That'd be cool.
And it's going to be that ability, and you can't reverse it. And then Dialga's going to be like really fucking slow. So it makes full use of that. I
mean, why not? We got Primal fucking Groudon with its overpowered bullshit.
Yeah,
why not?
Mega Legendaries. Mega Rayquaza is in its own fucking Smogon tier.
I know.
Like I think we're allowed to overpower the legendaries. That's their point.
On. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why not? We don't. Man, we just need like a separate day for just legendaries. So Nick, we don't really talk about like the anime much in our third segment. It's usually about the games, which I like.
Yeah.
Because the games are like how we both grew up and experienced Pokemon.
After watching the show, yeah.
Like, and then we watched the show. I definitely watched the show second.
Right.
I played the game
Well,
first.
I stopped watching the show, and then I went more into the games.
Yeah, exactly. So we both are more familiar with games. I know you've watched a little bit more of the show than I have, but
right.
We've both regularly watched the show up to this point.
Yes.
Obviously. Up to this point in the show, so that way we have an even playing ground to play with.
Gotcha.
Who would you say are the best Pokemon characters?
Jigglypuff, by far, even easy. Just like Donald Trump's the best president, you know? Like, oh god, like, it's... Jigglypuff, like, the way it's so selfish and fucking, like, a bitch, like, I just love it. I can't even joke about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, viewers. No.
And just to clarify, I'm talking about characters who are Pokemon, not just, like, characters in the show.
I figured.
Yeah. Well, just in case they didn't.
Oh, in case they didn't.
Yeah. Let's each think about 3.
Think about 3, okay. If, let's say Charizard is a character, but I want to pick Charmander. Does that count?
You can, yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying.
No, yeah, just like
laying out the ground
any
rules.
individual Pokemon.
Okay.
You can select, like, one specific Charmander. You can be like, man, every single Sunflora was fucking great. That wouldn't be my pick, but just, like, in case that was, like, your thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Alright, let's start with an easy one. Pikachu is a pretty good character.
Yeah, he is.
You know, like, honestly, Pikachu's a pretty good character.
Like, Pikachu's kind of a jerk.
But only, like, subtly, you know? Like your friend who kind of ribs on you a little bit. But...
He'll rib on you, but he loves you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
exactly.
But with the younger Pokemon, the people like can't handle the jokes. Pikachu's like really nice to them, says, "Hey, no, here's some funny faces and stuff.
Yeah,
look at me, I'm a Charmander now. Whoa."
It's just like he carries the show.
He carries the
so
show,
well.
And when there's ketchup involved, Pikachu's cuteness level just like raises so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Or when Pikachu's evil, because of brainwaves or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pikachu's up there.
Pikachu's pretty good.
Do we want to talk about his rival immediately after, Meowth?
Sure. I'm not gonna select either of these for my 3.
Oh, okay.
But why don't we talk about, since those are the 2 main characters?
Those are the 2 main Pokemon characters. So Meowth kind of cheats a little bit because he also talks.
Yeah, and he behaves like a human, so he's a...
It's not that he as a Pokemon is interesting, it's he as his backstory and how he adapts and emotionally reacts is interesting.
Meowth has his moments where he can be like one of the best characters in the whole show. But sometimes it's like
he's one of the worst characters.
Yeah, it's just when he does it, he's like your friend who sometimes tries too hard, and you're like, hey man, chill.
It's okay.
Like, be yourself a little bit more, because right now you're trying to be this whole other thing, and just like be yourself a little bit more.
Just take it out of your guitar and sing to the moon.
Fucking A. Still the best closing I've seen for this show.
Oh yeah,
by a wide margin. Those are 2 main characters.
So the 2 main characters out of the way, so now we can pick our own
3.
Our own 3. Okay.
You got one?
You do one first.
I don't know if this would be like one of my, like, if I was going to make a list of my top 20 favorite Pokemon characters, I don't know if this would necessarily make it, but literally the first one that comes to my mind is Caterpie.
Yeah.
You know? That was a really and specifically Butterfree, and specifically Butterfree and the episode where Butterfree is released, Bye Bye Butterfree. That was Butterfree at his best.
Butterfree, it was the emotional child of Ash's.
Yeah, he's just like working it in that episode. He was like adorable. You wanted to follow him throughout his whole journey.
Like, Caterpie just wanted to evolve. Caterpie fucking embraced adulthood. Take a fucking lesson, Bulbasaur.
Right? Bulbasaur would have made my list if it wasn't for that, man.
No, if Bulbasaur realized he had to bloom, he would have been on my list. But he's not, because he's an immature brat. Yeah. My first is Charizard.
Ah.
Because Charizard does grow. Like, it has an arc throughout the series.
He does. He has probably the most well-defined arc of any character.
Yeah.
In the whole series.
Like, you could easily tell from A to B. Like, Charizard changes emotionally.
Yeah. You could watch a series of episodes involving, like, Charizard's change specifically. I mean, you could do Charmander and Charmeleon too, but Charizard's change specifically and like you'd have a pretty good day out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Watching his whole arc go from like the almost the bully to the
proud warrior.
To the proud warrior. He's got the Vegeta arc going on. It's pretty wild.
Charizard is Vegeta. I realized Charizard was one of my favorite Pokemon characters when we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit,
fair.
Charizard's awesome.
It's fair.
My second one is Psyduck.
Yeah.
Because
Look
Psyduck is goddamn Psyduck.
Yeah, he's fucking adorable. He really is.
I think he was like the first Pokemon to be accidentally caught.
I can't think of any others that were.
And he just takes all this emotional abuse and physical in the beginning abuse from Misty, and he sadly, so sadly adapts to that. He's like, oh, this is how you express love. Fantastic. Misty loves me. It's not, but like he just lives with it. He loves it. During the Orange Islands, one of the major things that it gets wrong in the Orange Islands, Psyduck starts to come out of his Pokeball on his own.
Yeah.
And I think he does that in Johto too now.
Yeah.
But in Kanto, that was every single ball throw.
Not every single, but most of them.
99 out of 100. It was Misty's fault because she was a dumbass trainer who couldn't like figure out her Pokeball shit. Like Psyduck was like, "What? You threw my Pokeball. You knew this was me. You did, didn't you? No, you didn't. Wow. Okay. I love you. I love you, Misty. You're dumb, but I love you." And which is funny because that's what everyone probably says about Psyduck.
Kinda, yeah. He's so dumb, but we love him.
But Psyduck isn't dumb.
No, he's not dumb.
Psyduck just
like on a different level, you know?
He's on a different level. He's on a higher level, I think. I mean, anyone who has the capability of psychic powers is on a higher level.
And he's not even psychic type.
He's not psychic type.
He's just that.
And that's what I mean specifically. Like psychic types, they're not on a higher level. They're just psychic types. They've trained for this. Pokemon that have psychic powers probably work harder for that, I would imagine. They're on the higher level. So yeah, Psyduck's the opposite of Charizard. He's not Vegeta, he's more like Champa. But if Champa were smarter and more zen, I guess.
The second one I want to talk about hasn't been in the show for more recent, I guess, than Butterfree, and he never got as much screen time, but I loved it every time he came on screen. Fucking Coughing. I fucking love and miss Coughing so much. I miss
Coughing too.
Coughing was great. Coughing would just come on screen and he would just casually float by with a smiling face.
Coughing!
And that was his whole shtick, and he nailed it every time. No other character in the whole show nailed it every time like Coughing did.
I don't think Coughing ever frowned either. Like,
no.
If he did, it was only when it was hit, and we're like, ah.
It was just because he got turned upside down, if anything. He was great. He just is always there, and he's just like, hi, I'm Coughing. What's up?
Hey, I'm Coughing. What, you want me to explode? I mean, okay.
All right, I'll do whatever.
He never exploded, but it would have been, I bet he would have taken that.
Yeah.
Arms open.
Yeah.
And by arms open, I mean no arms open. Because he doesn't have arms.
I was always happy when Coughing came on screen. My third one, we've had two actually of this Pokemon, and both of them they were very different, but both of them like again they just nailed it, and they've only been in one episode I think each. Bellsprout.
Yeah,
fucking
shit.
Bellsprout just nailed it. That thing fucking nailed it every time. Every time. That fucking Bellsprout during the Kanto Championships that fucking destroys every one of Ash's Pokemon. I fucking loved that thing. And then the Bellsprout in the one Voltorb episode, it was Bout with Sprout. I almost forgot the name of it. In a Bout with Sprout, when it's just like wobbling around, just like trying, it's like Sprout, and then he's like, yeah. Trying to get that fucking fuckhead's attention. He did not deserve that fucking Bellsprout.
He did not deserve that Bellsprout.
He did not deserve that Bellsprout. Bellsprout has so much fucking charisma, man. Just so much fucking charisma.
And he's just so derpy looking,
He's just so derpy.
Like, yeah.
He just owns it every time.
Do you think it makes sense that James has a victory bell because of the Bellsprout origins? Like, I bet child James had a pretty awesome Bellsprout.
I wish he had just a regular Bellsprout. It would fit him. It would still fit him. Like I wish we had that like progression of him with like that badass derpy like Bellsprout
and then it evolves into a Weeping Bell, and then it accidentally evolves into a Victory Bell.
I could totally see that happening.
That would have been cool.
I could totally see that happening.
So this is a placeholder, because...
Oh, I'm sure we'll both think of ones later that, fuck, I wish I had talked about that Pokemon.
No, I mean, this is a placeholder, because my third, I know, it hasn't been introduced yet. He's awesome. But, for now, Snorlax.
Oh, right on.
Just because he's my spirit animal.
Yeah,
he's like...
right on. Snorlax is great. Snorlax is great.
Snorlax is great. He eats and sleeps and...
He doesn't take shit, really.
He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit.
And if you get in his way... I'm talking about Ash's Snorlax specifically.
Yeah.
If you get in his way, he will destroy you.
Yes.
He will, like, fucking, like, acrobatically jump out of the way and your kicks. He'll, like, judo throw you away. And then he will hyper beam you from his goddamn mouth. And later, his eyes.
That's one of my favorite memes.
Brock can hyper beam.
Is that why his eyes are always closed? Is that why Brock's eyes are always closed?
Yes.
Oh, God. Pretty good Pokemon characters there, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty good ones.
Anything else for this podcast, Nick?
As of the time of recording this, Zeraora. The Thunderclap Pokemon has been officially revealed.
Revealed or released?
Revealed, not released yet.
Damn. It looks cool, but it doesn't look like legendary.
It looks like a middle evolution.
Like it does. Oh god, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like it has a really cute first form, and then like it gets back on its four legs in the final form.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, kind of like a Oshawott to Samurott type deal.
Yeah. I'm kind of laughing at all the people who were like, "Oh, they're gonna reveal an 8th generation Pokemon on April 9th." Like they're not. They didn't. Shut up.
Why would they?
Like Pokemon 8th Gen, I don't think it's coming out till 2019. They would have said something by now.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get a reveal. We're not gonna get an 8th generation reveal until I think the Eevee is gonna, in the upcoming Pokemon movie, it's gonna evolve into the new Eevee.
That's an interesting prediction.
And it's either gonna be rock or flying.
I hope we remember to come back to this prediction because that's very interesting.
Because there's an Eevee, and there has been merchandise pages of like a censored thing. So, and it's gonna be 8th generation. There's a new Eevee evolution every even number generation.
It's true. It'd be nice if they did 2 again.
It would be. Sylveon was a little bit of a glamour whore.
Yeah.
Go off and live your dreams. Be stronger because you want to. Not because I want you to, because you want to. You can do it. Just know that I love you. Bye. I hope that I see you again someday.
Freeze frame.